The passage of time is really a funny thing. Actually, I think I mean the perception of time passing. I remember in high school sitting through hour-long math classes that lasted for weeks. But these last 3 years have gone by in a flash. Well, not every day, of course. There were some sticky spots, but mostly whoosh. I have very mixed feelings as my term ends. I've been honored to be National President of BNC and very proud of its growth and successes during my tenure. But it's time for the next National President to tackle the work that still needs to be done. And we are so fortunate that the very capable Madeline Friedberg will take over. This has been the hardest most time-consuming job I have ever loved. And I will miss doing it. Mostly, I will miss the people I worked with so closely, but plan to keep those friendships going. Dr. Seuss advises, don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. I will try to remember that. Any successes of the last 3 years have been mostly due to the inspired hard work and dedication of everyone involved on every level of BNC. The person I want to thank most is BNC Executive Director, Beth Bernstein. She has been my partner every step of the way and has become my very close friend. I also want to recognize every wonderful member of her staff. Melissa, Tom, Danya, and Tamar. Right, there are only 4 of them for this big organization. I think I, right now, will put in a plug for more staff. Next, I have to mention Miles Weissenberg and Nancy Winship. BNC and I could not have been luckier to have more devoted supporters, and I'm proud to count them among my friends. I've been blessed with the smartest, most creative, and dedicated national VPs. Marilyn Blankman, Merle Karras, Madeline Friedberg, Judy Levine, and Lexi Maggot, and their hard-working national teams. And gifted with a wonderful BNC board, I also want to recognize my special mentors, Leslie Pearlstein and Carol Rabinovitz. BNC is a hierarchy. So in addition to thanking our national leaders, I want to say how grateful I am for the efforts of our region and chapter leaders, and most appreciative of our members for all they give to our national organization and to our shared cause, the support of Brandeis University. And of course, I thank my husband, Joe, for his unflagging support. In my installation address 3 years ago, I said I had several overarching goals for my 3 years. Strengthening the philanthropic culture of BNC, strengthening our chapters through training and leadership development, building connections at all levels of BNC between chapters and regions, regions, and national, and personally visiting as many chapters as I could. I wanted members to realize that they are not just members of individual chapters, but of a national organization, BNC. I wanted chapters to feel the connection to the university and the importance of supporting it. I wanted to emphasize the win-win of BNC. We give stimulating, lifelong learning, activities to the members, and they give back to Brandeis. I specifically, of course, wanted to increase membership and donations. So what were my challenges in reaching these goals? Volunteerism is very different today than when we started in 1948. Some of you heard me say this today. Then, most women were not working, did not have their own alma maters, and most Jewish women could not be on local cultural boards. Now we compete with all that in attracting members. Joining BNC after retiring from a demanding job often means that members want to enjoy what we offer, but not take leadership roles. And because our members join many groups, we compete for their financial donations. And what specific actions did I take to try to achieve my goals? I created a think tank team comprised of BNC National Volunteers and Brandeis staff to brainstorm about how to make members in chapters feel closer to the university. One of our ideas has come to fruition. Thanks to Tamar, videos were made of Beth, me, and scholarship students that went to every member. We strengthened our regions to better connect chapters and national, wanting all 6 regions to have not only a president, but VPs that mirrored those in chapters and on the national level. Fundraising, membership, leadership development, and learning opportunities. This is still a work in progress, but we're almost there. And thanks to National VP over Regions, Marilyn Blankman. When I was National VP of Leadership Development, my amazing team created a handbook, and we held trainings on it in every region. Now my successor, Merle Karras, her team and the region leadership development VPs have focused on trying to help each chapter have a leadership development VP or chair. In the past, we have lost chapters due to lack of leadership. We must continue to combat this. The National Nominating Committee that I've chaired for the last 3 years has found the best officers and NEC board members. Wanting to strengthen the chapter national connection and to involve NEC members in this, we assigned each NEC member to 1 or more chapters to mentor. During my 3 years, membership has stayed steady, mostly thanks to the efforts of Judy Levine. All the national VPs loved her idea of monthly membership tips and plan to use appropriate tips in their own areas. We did not quite reach our goal of $3 million for sustaining the mind, but we came close at $2.8 million. And we have raised $435,636 so far for our scholarship campaign, almost halfway to our $1 million goal, due at the end of next year. BNC is still a very young school with young alums with an endowment in the millions compared to the Ivies, who have endowments in the billions, and thus more income to fund student scholarships. BNC has always done what the university needed to help fill the gaps, putting books on the library shelves, furnishing a lab, supporting research and scholarships in neurodegenerative diseases. Now, helping the university fund scholarships is critical to ensuring that the best and brightest students can come to Brandeis regardless of their ability to pay. I love what actress Viola Davis said. Whenever there's a deficit, you gotta be an activist. And I have felt that I need to be a role model, giving a stretch gift. And I challenge all of you to join me in that. Over the last 3 years, Beth has worked hard to get additional professors to author study group guides, and Lexi Maggot has been very creative in trying to get chapters to use them. One of the most interesting tasks of a national president is to sit on the university's board of trustees, and it has been my pleasure to be very vocal there in support of BNC. I felt we were really not very well known, as we should be, on that board. Beth and I have also tried, with the assistance of Allison Sakin, to make our BNC board meetings interesting and worthwhile. In addition, I visited 24 of our 40 chapters. I believe that leadership is about building relationships, and I wanted to deliver my message about why it's so important to work for BNC and Brandeis University. And my tenure doesn't actually end until July 1st, so I'm visiting the Baltimore chapter next month when I go to the DC area for my granddaughter's high school graduation. When I retired from 35 years as a social worker, I wanted to find a meaningful volunteer job. I agree with the late Martin Luther King Jr., who said, "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you going to do for others?" I wanted to make a difference. I loved my alma mater, Brown, but that school has plenty of older alums contributing. I wanted to support education in a way that would matter, in a way that would make a difference. Education is critical to succeeding in life, not just in being prepared for a career, but in being a better citizen. I chose to support Brandeis with predominantly young alums. It needs extra support. I'm thrilled that I've been asked to continue as a member of the university's board of trustees, representing myself this time, as well as BNC, so that I can continue to support this wonderful place. Brandeis is a very unique university. It's the only non-sectarian Jewish-sponsored university in the US. It's a small liberal arts university with a national research component. It's a Jewish-founded school that prizes diversity. It has bold ambitions in education, research, and repairing the world, but has limited resources. It's up to us to supplement those resources, and I'm grateful to each and every one of you for helping me to do that. Thank you. Thank you. So, one of the most fun things that I get to do is to present what we call presidential citations. So, I'm giving them to all 5 of my national VPs. If they would come forward, please. Lexi Maggot. Judy Levine. Oops, Marilyn Blankman's not here. I'll take that home to her. Merle Karras. Madeline Friedberg. Without those 5 fabulous national VPs, we would not have been so successful. So I thank them tremendously. There are a few other people that I think are really special that have helped grow this BNC in the way that it has over the last 3 years. Ron Levy. Okay, so I'm just a social worker, so I can't do this budget and finance thing really well the way he does. So I'm not entirely stupid when it comes to numbers, but he is much smarter. So, Ron, I thank you for your help with the Budget and Finance Committee. Allison Sagan. Serious, do I make these things up? Hey, this is my pleasure. I get to choose who I give these to. This is so fun. Well, last year I thanked Beth and I thanked Melissa and Miles and all these people. But Allison, you cannot imagine. She does all the details. We're here in this cute environment tent with the stations and the music and the whole thing, and my special line because of Allison. Thank you, Allison. And one last one. To my husband, Joe Sander. I shouldn't say this in front of Steve Freeberg. I called this my 3-year term. I loved it. You know, it'll be an easier life without it, but I'm really sad to leave. I called it my 3-year term. Joe called it my 3-year sentence. So, just saying. He wasn't always right in my corner, but he was there when he could be. So, I thank you very much. Thank you really to every single one of you. I have made such great friendships, and believe me, as I leave this office, the friendships don't end.
I don't know how to thank you for doing this. When Beth said to me I could ask anyone I wanted to do the installation tonight, I immediately said, well, it has to be Bobby Ehrlich, because Bobby has been my mentor, my friend, my guiding light, a beacon for me for the past 43 years. And I'm really, really touched that you made the effort. I know it was hard for you to travel up here from Pleasantville. So I just love you, and you know that. So, well, Barbie already told you a little bit about me, but let me tell you a little bit about me and my Brandeis life. I joined Brandeis in 1973 after my friend Maris told me about a group of women she had just met who said to her, "Who are you? What do you do? What do you like?" They never asked her who her husband was and what he did, how many children she had and what they did. They wanted to know about her, and then they told her all about their involvement and their dedication to Brandeis National Women's Committee. And I said, Maris, the next time you meet with these ladies, call me. I need that in my life. And so I quickly got involved in the Central Westchester chapter, and I chaired a lot of events, and as Bobby said, I've been treasurer for more years than it's allowed, but it's my love to do it. And I am co-chairing the Central Westchester Annual Spring Luncheon, which I've done for many, many years, and that's on Thursday, which is why I have to leave tomorrow after lunch so I can get ready for the luncheon on Thursday. And I also bring the speaker, who's Jeffrey Lyons, who lives in our building. 4 years ago, I received a phone call from Leslie Pearlstein asking me to be on the NEC. And I said, and I very politely, I think, declined. I said I was busy, I was working, I had this, I had that, I couldn't do it. A year later, Leslie called me again. And then I had no more excuses. I had retired, I was working just 1 day a week. When she had called me 4 years ago, I was chairman of our homeowners association in Lenox, so that was keeping me very busy. But when she called me 3 years ago, my term was coming to an end, and I was only working 1 day a week, so I really didn't have any more excuses. So I said yes. And I joined the Learning Opportunities team. And the following year, Barb Sander called me and said, would I take on the vice presidency of Learning Opportunities, which I did. And a year later, Barb called me again and said, would I transfer my portfolio to fundraising? Well, the 2 years that I was with Learning Opportunities were very challenging, and I learned a lot about the organization, and I learned a lot about myself and my limitations and my strengths. Well, this year of being vice president of fundraising has been very challenging. As you all know, we moved from sustaining the mind to scholarship, and there was a lot of pushback and there was a lot of work that had to be done, but I had a fabulous, fabulous team who worked diligently, and as Bob said, we are almost halfway to our goal of $1 million, and I just thank all of you for all of your support. It's absolutely amazing to me. But there's so much more that we have to do. So my 3 years on the NEC are due to be up June 30th, or so I thought. And in many ways, I have made a lot of wonderful new friends. My life has been enriched. I have grown. It has been really a fabulous 3 years for me. Because earlier this spring, Barb called me again, and she asked me if I would be the next NEC president. I was dumbstruck. I was silenced. And those of you who know me, I am not easily silenced. So I told Barb I'd think about it. And I discussed it with my husband, Steve, who said, you can do anything you set your heart on doing, go for it. And you'll make a very good national president. I spoke with our son, who said, way to go, Mom. And he was hoping to be here today, but he had a bankruptcy court appearance and he couldn't. He's a lawyer, and he couldn't get up from Maryland. And then I spoke with our younger daughter, who said she was very proud of me, and of course I should accept the challenge, but only if I would still have time to watch her 3 children. And then I spoke with our older daughter, who's always been the family's devil advocate, and she said to me, well, I think you should consider, are there any other ways you can be more supportive and more helpful to the BNC? And if you can't, well, then of course accept the challenge. And so I asked myself, who did I want to be? I don't want to be busy, I want to be engaged. I want to live my life to its fullest, and I know that I don't have to do it alone. I've got many phone calls and emails from members of BNC and faculty and staff encouraging me and asking me to say yes. And then I called Barb and I said, okay, well, she threatened me, but we won't go into that. And so here I am, the next president of BNC. And BNC has become very important and part of my life, and our mission is very important to me. I have many goals and ideas for the next 3 years, but I'm not going to take up time to discuss them now. Following the presidencies of such talented and dedicated and brilliant women is really a challenge for me, and it's a daunting task. But I know I have the support of Barb and Leslie and Barbara, and so other past presidents that I've been speaking to. So I'm very excited to be working with such a terrific and dedicated NEC and wonderful VPs. And I will need all of your support, and I know that we can continue on the wonderful path that my predecessors have put us on. This is a responsibility that I take very seriously, and I thank you for putting your faith in me.